Do you remember the first time you saw Neo lean back to dodge those slow-motion bullets flying through the air? That image, no matter how many years have passed, remains etched in our memory like an indelible mark. The black coat billowing, his body bending in a perfect arc, bullets suspended in mid-air, in drops of sweat falling, as if time itself had frozen. And then, everything resumes. The sound explodes. The world keeps turning. Have you ever wondered if the world we're living in is truly real? That question was posed by a film right at the threshold of a new millennium, the year 1999. The world was preparing to step into 2000 with countless concerns about the Y2K bug, about the future of technology, about humanity itself. And in that context, a film emerged, not merely as entertainment, but as an awakening, a philosophical question wrapped in cinematic frames. The Matrix. The Wachowskis siblings created a cultural phenomenon the world had never witnessed. Not simply an action film, not just science fiction. The Matrix was the perfect fusion of Eastern and Western philosophy, Greek mythology, and Buddhism. A story about enlightenment and humanity's struggle for survival. It questioned the nature of reality, the meaning of freedom, the price one must pay to awaken. And the film world welcomed it like a storm. Worldwide box office exceeded $460 million, 4 prestigious Oscars, visual effects, film editing, sound, and sound effects editing. But beyond the numbers, The Matrix left an invisible legacy more powerful than any award. The bullet time technique, which revolutionized action filmmaking, the aerial martial arts combat scenes, the breathtaking chase sequences, the haunting green-tinted frames, all became inspiration for countless films, games, music videos, even fashion and popular culture. And at the center of it all were the people, the faces who breathed life into the virtual world of the Matrix. Keanu Reeves with his calm and mysterious presence as Neo, the Chosen One. Carrie-Anne Moss with that mesmerizing spinning kick as Trinity, a cold warrior yet full of depth. Laurence Fishburne, bringing the calm and wisdom of Morpheus, the guiding mentor. Hugo Weaving, with the ice-cold voice of Agent Smith, an enemy both terrifying and captivating. Joe Pantoliano, Cypher, the tragic traitor. Gloria Foster, the Oracle, the benevolent sage with cryptic prophecies. And supporting faces like Marcus Chong, Anthony Ray Parker, silent warriors, no less important. Back then, they were the faces that left us breathless. So, after more than 2 decades, where are they now? Some still shine like stars in the Hollywood sky. Some chose a peaceful path, retreating into private life. Some have passed on, leaving behind an unfading legacy. Let's trace each face. From Neo, the Chosen One, to the supporting characters who carved themselves deep into our memories. I know Kung Fu. Just that line, simple as it sounds, it contained an entire transformation. Neo Thomas Anderson, an ordinary programmer, suddenly becoming a warrior. From someone sitting in a dark room before a computer screen, to someone facing an entire army of agents, bending reality, and ultimately becoming the one chosen to free humanity. The image of Keanu Reeves leaning back to dodge bullets became iconic, but before becoming Neo, Keanu was already a familiar face in Hollywood. Born in Beirut, raised in Toronto, he entered cinema in the 1980 seconds. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Point Break, and especially Speed, the 1994 action film that launched him to international stardom. But The Matrix was truly the turning point. The role of Neo demanded not just acting but physical challenges with months of martial arts training under expert Yuan Wu-Ping. And now, in 2025, Keanu Reeves remains one of the most beloved stars on the planet, not just for his talent, but for who he is. After The Matrix, he continued in the sequels, but his new peak came from John Wick, the neo-classical action series beginning in 2014. An assassin seeking revenge for his dog sounds absurd, but Keanu turned it into legend. 5 films, each one impressive, and in his 60s, he still performs incredible action sequences with rare dedication. But what makes Keanu special isn't just his career, it's his lifestyle. He lives simply, rides the subway, sits eating sandwiches on park benches, gives gifts to film crews, donates to charity. Stories of his kindness spread like legend. In a world full of vanity and noise, Keanu Reeves is a model of humility and humanity. From the one in The Matrix to the kind man in real life, Keanu Reeves has proven that glory lies not only in the spotlight, but in how we treat others. And beside Neo, there was always an irreplaceable companion, Trinity, the woman who overcame every barrier to stand by his side. So after all these years, where is Carrie-Anne Moss, who played Trinity? A spinning kick in midair, sleek black hair, a shiny leather suit reflecting the light. Trinity appeared in The Matrix's opening scene like a dancer in the midst of battle. And from that moment, the world knew a new feminist icon. Carrie-Anne Moss wasn't a prominent name before 1999. Born in Vancouver, Canada, she had played supporting roles in TV series, tried modeling, but hadn't found her breakthrough until the Wachowskis approached her for Trinity, a role requiring the combination of physical strength, emotional depth, and the ability to express subtle feelings beneath a cold exterior. Trinity wasn't just a strong woman. She was a warrior, a lover, a beacon of faith. The relationship between Trinity and Neo wasn't built with hollow dialogue, but with glances, with gestures, with sacrifice. And Carrie-Anne did it beautifully. After The Matrix, she continued in the 2 sequels. But her career didn't explode like Keanu's. She participated in projects like Christopher Nolan's Memento, Chocolat, and various TV series. But Carrie-Anne didn't chase the spotlight. She chose family. Married to actor Stephen Roy in 1999. She has 3 children and devoted most of her time to motherhood. In 2021, she returned as Trinity in The Matrix Resurrections. Over 50, but still vibrant. Still the powerful and emotional Trinity. She proved that age isn't a barrier, but the mark of time on a mature person. Today, Carrie-Anne Moss lives peacefully, occasionally appearing in independent projects, participating in podcasts, sharing about life and art. She doesn't need to prove anything more. Trinity is already a legacy, and Carrie-Anne Moss has lived true to what she believes. But if Neo was the chosen one, and Trinity was the faith, then Morpheus was the one who started it all. The one who offered the choice between the red pill and the blue pill. So what about Laurence Fishburne, who brought this iconic character to life? This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Perhaps no scene is more iconic than Morpheus offering Neo the choice. 2 pills, 2 paths, 1 decision that changes everything. And Laurence Fishburne's deep, authoritative voice made that moment immortal. Laurence Fishburne was no stranger to Hollywood. Born in 1961, he began his career very early. Appeared in Apocalypse Now in 1979. At just 1-4 though, he lied about being 18. Then came a series of impressive roles. Boys and the Hood. What's Love Got to Do with It? Earning an Oscar nomination. And especially Othello, an emotional Shakespearean stage performance. But Morpheus truly elevated him to global status. This role demanded not just seriousness, but a combination of philosophy and action. Morpheus was the teacher, the guide, but also a warrior, unafraid to sacrifice for belief. After The Matrix, Laurence continued in the 2 sequels, then expanded his career with diverse roles. He appeared in TV series CSI, Hannibal, Blackish, and continued in cinema. In 2014, he reunited with Keanu Reeves in John Wick, then appeared in John Wick, Chapter 2. 2 old friends reunited, this time in a completely different world, but still spectacular. Laurence Fishburne isn't just an actor, he's also a producer, director, and screenwriter. He has received many prestigious awards, and his name still carries weight in the entertainment industry. Now, in his 60s, Laurence remains active. Morpheus taught us about faith and awakening, and Laurence Fishburne has lived by that philosophy, always moving forward, constantly creating. But light cannot exist without darkness. If Morpheus was the guiding light, then Agent Smith was the lurking shadow, and Hugo Weaving turned Agent Smith into one of cinema's greatest villains. Mr. Anderson, just 2 words. But the way Hugo Weaving delivered them, with a cold, contemptuous, and menacing tone, made Agent Smith a cinematic icon, not a loud villain, not a crazed enemy, but a computer program with cold calculation and a deep hatred for humanity. Hugo Weaving was born in 1960 inches, Nigeria. Raised in Australia and England, he began his acting career in Australia, participating in many films and stage plays. Before The Matrix, he had already made his mark with a role in The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, a role completely opposite to Agent Smith, colorful and humorous. But when the Wachowskis invited him to play Agent Smith, Hugo turned this character into a work of art. Smith wasn't just Neo's enemy, but the embodiment of control, of the system, of the cold machine wanting to erase human emotion. And through 3 films, Agent Smith evolved from an obedient program into a free virus, wanting to destroy both the Matrix and humanity. After The Matrix, Hugo Weaving continued to shine as Elrond in The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit series. Then V for Vendetta, another role full of political and philosophical metaphor. He also voiced the villain Megatron in the Transformers series and Red Skull in Captain America, the First Avenger. However, Hugo didn't return in The Matrix Resurrections in 2021 due to scheduling conflicts and salary disputes. A regrettable thing, but Agent Smith's legacy endures. The voice, the mocking laugh, the way he said Mr. Placid Eye Blinks, Anderson, all became indelible marks. Today, Hugo Weaving remains active, primarily in Australia, participating in theater and independent film projects. He doesn't need Hollywood to prove his worth. Agent Smith lives forever in fans' memories. But not all villains come from outside. Sometimes, the greatest danger lies within. And that was Cypher, the tragic traitor played by Joe Pantoliano. Ignorance is bliss. Cypher Reagan, sitting in a Matrix restaurant, biting into a virtual steak, convincing himself that illusion is better than reality. He knows it's not real meat, but he no longer wants to endure the harsh reality outside. He chose betrayal, chose to return to the Matrix, chose to forget everything. Joe Pantoliano, or Joey Pants as friends call him, brought Cypher to life with astonishing complexity, not simply evil. Cypher was the embodiment of weariness, of despair, of human weakness under overwhelming pressure. He wasn't a villain driven by power, but simply, he wasn't strong enough to continue. Joe Pantoliano was born in 1951, grew up in New Jersey, and began his career in the 1970 seconds. He appeared in The Goonies, La Bamba, and especially as Ralph Cifaretto in the legendary TV series The Sopranos, a role that earned him an Emmy. But in The Matrix, he showed another dimension, an emotional betrayal that made audiences both hate and pity him. After The Matrix, Joe continued in many film and television projects. He appeared in Memento, Bad Boys 2, The Fugitive, and numerous other series. His image is always associated with complex, deeply internal, and sometimes unpredictable characters. Now, in his 70s, Joe Pantoliano remains active in entertainment. He's also a social activist, particularly concerned with mental health issues. Having written books and founded a non-profit organization to raise awareness about mental illness, Cypher taught us that not everyone is strong enough to choose truth. But Joe Pantoliano has lived with honesty, sharing his own struggles to help others. But not everything in The Matrix was about choosing between betrayal and loyalty. There were those who were simply gentle lights in the darkness, and that was the Oracle, the benevolent prophet played by Gloria Foster. A small kitchen, the scent of cookies wafting through the air, a white-haired woman with a kind face, sitting and waiting. That was the Oracle, the Matrix's prophet, who told Neo seemingly contradictory words, yet containing deep truth. Know thyself. Gloria Foster didn't need glamour or special effects to create impact. She did it with her voice, with her eyes, with her spiritual presence. The Oracle wasn't someone who predicted the future rigidly, but someone who awakened consciousness within each person. She told Neo he wasn't the one, but made him believe it when it mattered most. Gloria Foster was born in 1933. A veteran of stage and cinema, she had participated in Broadway, starred in A Raisin in the Sun, and received many award nominations. In cinema, she appeared in The Cool World, Man and Boy, Leonard Part 6, and many other films. But the role of the Oracle truly brought her close to younger audiences. She appeared in both The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded. But unfortunately, Gloria Foster passed away in September 2001, before completing The Matrix Revolutions. The Oracle role was later taken by Mary Alice. But Gloria Foster's legacy endures in fans' hearts. The Oracle wasn't a warrior, not an action hero, but she was the heart of the story. She taught us about trust, about seeking oneself, about accepting fate but not giving up, and Gloria Foster did this with rare gentleness and depth. Today, when people mention the Oracle, they still remember that warm kitchen, the smell of cookies, and the kind smile of a woman who left but created an indelible mark. But in the brutal world of war against machines, there weren't only masters and prophets. There were silent warriors, system operators, those who sacrificed in the shadows, and one of them was Tank, played by Marcus Chong. I'm going to learn jujitsu? Holy shit. Tank wasn't the most prominent person on the Nebuchadnezzar, but he was the backbone of the crew, the system operator, program loader, supporting warriors in the Matrix. Tank was born in Zion, humanity's last city, so he had no jacks on his body. He was proud of that. Proud of being pure human, untouched by machines. Marcus Chong, adopted son of Tommy Chong, member of the comedy duo Cheech and Chong, brought Tank to life with bright energy and enthusiasm. This role didn't require much martial arts action, but demanded a warm presence, like a brother, a friend always ready. Before the Matrix, Marcus had some small TV roles, but Tank truly put him in the spotlight. However, after the first film, Marcus didn't return in the sequels. There were rumors of conflicts with producers regarding contracts and salary, and Tank didn't appear in The Matrix Reloaded and Revolutions. After The Matrix, Marcus Chong's career didn't really take off. He participated in some small projects, appeared in a few independent films, but no role was strong enough to bring him back to the big stage. Today, Marcus Chong lives quite privately, rarely appearing in public. But for those who love The Matrix, Tank remains an unforgettable face, the silent companion who helped Neo become a warrior. Tank taught us that not everyone has to be on the front lines to be important. Sometimes, those in the background, those operating systems, are the key to victory. And alongside Tank was another warrior, his blood brother, Dozer, who fought bravely and sacrificed tragically. That was Anthony Ray Parker. Dozer was Tank's older brother, also born in Zion, also without jacks, also proud of his pure origins. But unlike Tank, the operator, Dozer was a warrior. He appeared less, but every moment left a mark. And his death, betrayed and killed by Cypher, was one of the film's most painful moments. Anthony Ray Parker was born in 1,958 inches Saginaw, Michigan, but grew up in New Zealand. He began his acting career there, participating in some local films and TV series before The Matrix. He wasn't a familiar name, but the role of Dozer opened opportunities for him. However, like Tank, Dozer didn't appear in the sequels. The character died in the first film, and Anthony's career afterward didn't have major breakthroughs. He continued filming in New Zealand, participated in some TV projects like Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, Xena, Warrior Princess, and other independent films. Anthony Ray Parker didn't become a Hollywood star, but he continued working in film and television, mainly in New Zealand and Australia. He also participated in theater projects, maintaining a modest acting career. Today, Anthony remains active, occasionally appearing at the Matrix anniversary events, meeting fans, and sharing behind-the-scenes memories. Dozer, the silent warrior who sacrificed for freedom, lives forever in memory. And Anthony Ray Parker, though not as famous as the big stars, remains an irreplaceable part of the Matrix legacy. And so, The journey through each phase has come to an end. From Neo, the chosen one, now a symbol of kindness and humility. From Trinity, the cold warrior yet full of emotion, who has found peace with family. From Morpheus, the wise guide, still shining on screen. From Agent Smith, the immortal villain with an ice-cold voice, still a legend hard to surpass. From Cypher, the tragic traitor, but also the face of human weakness. From the Oracle, the benevolent sage who passed but left an immortal legacy. From Tank and Dozer, the silent warriors, fleeting faces that never fade. Each person took a different path. Some still shine under the spotlight, admired by the world. Some chose simple lives, finding happiness in ordinary things. Some left forever, but left indelible marks. Yet they all share one thing. They were once part of the greatest cultural phenomenon of the century. The Matrix wasn't just a film, it was a question, an awakening, an artwork that made us look at ourselves, look at the world, and ask, what is real? And after more than 2 decades, that question remains valid. In an era of social media, fake news, increasingly sophisticated virtual reality, the Matrix becomes even more relevant. We live in a world where the line between real and fake grows thinner. We're surrounded by algorithms, screens, invisible codes controlling how we think, how we feel, and the people who created the Matrix, whether they knew it or not, left us a timeless message: awaken. Question: seek truth, no matter how painful, and believe in yourself. Time is the real Matrix. It changes everything. It takes some away, leaves others behind, transforms people. But there's one thing time cannot erase: memory, emotion, the mark these people left in our hearts. Neo still leans back, dodging bullets in millions of people's memories. Trinity still kicks in midair with mesmerizing beauty. Morpheus still offers the choice between red and blue pills. Agent Smith still calls out Mr. Brang's round. Anderson in that cold tone. Cypher still bites into virtual steak. The Oracle still bakes cookies in that warm kitchen. Tank and Dozer remain Zion's loyal warriors. Whether glory has faded or still continues, they remain forever part of unforgettable cinematic memory. They're the ones who helped us believe that sometimes reality can be changed, that we can be free, that we can be the one. And perhaps that's the most beautiful message the Matrix and the people who created it wanted to convey. Believe in yourself. Choose the red pill. Awaken.